Hello, listener, and welcome to Book 5, Chapter 11 of Bite-Sized Tales, the audio flash fiction podcast. In today's chapter, we continue the serial story of The Burden of Protection. The Burden of Protection, Part 4, Temptation and the Sample. Written and read by Chris Hussey. In Part 3, in the pouring rain, Garret and Phrixus finally arrived at the Tower of the Fallen Paladin, the last resting place of Lenore Drache, once a holy warrior dedicated to assisting Garret's family in their own sacred oath. The Paladin succumbed to temptations that assailed her. In a last-ditch effort to serve her vows, despite falling from grace, she ended her own life, and now haunts her former home, constantly bleeding to fulfill her oath of supplying several drops of blood to Garret's family and their mission, but also tempting those who might dare enter. Garret warned Phrixus of the temptations he may face, as well as alluding to the fact that he nearly succumbed to his own temptations in his last visit. The pair entered the tower, searching for the ghostly warrior, to complete a portion of the ritual Garret needs to help keep a mysterious portal closed. They find evidence that someone was in the tower recently, and the possibility that they may have met an unfortunate end. As they climb higher in the tower, they hear a mysterious moaning on the floor above them. Phrixus found himself laughing heartily, laughing in a way he honestly could never remember doing. Joy and happiness filled his heart and soul. The source of this was plainly obvious. It was Isabella. She sat opposite of him in the tavern where they shared drinks, laughter, and smiles. Her beauty was nearly as intoxicating as the mug of odd-smelling mead the alchemist held in his hand. Why does it smell so unusual? I know it's mead, but it smells of anything but, he thought to himself. He wanted to examine the curiosity further, but Isabella's face entered his view once more, distracting him. Her yellow-blonde curls bounced as she giggled, the broad smile in her face accenting the roundness of her cheeks. Phrixus looked deeply into her green eyes, swearing he could see stars dancing inside them. "Aren't you happy here?" she asked, her hand reaching for his. Isabella's skin was warm and smooth, carrying an electricity in it, sending ripples through his body, causing him to shiver reflexively. He felt a feeling he hadn't felt since... Phrixus wasn't sure when he felt like this before. He wanted to say it had been years, but yet it might have been just yesterday. Droplets of water fell from his hair to land on their touching hands. Water? Why is my hair wet? I have been in this tavern for... How long have I been in this tavern? Phrixus realized he couldn't answer that question. "My love, we should get you another drink. This one is stale, I fear." Isabella spoke over the din of the crowd. She touched his mug, causing a rivulet of blood to seep from her finger and down the side. Phrixus looked from the blood toward his love. "Isabella," he thought, "how did I lose you? Why did I let you go? No, wait, but you are here. I haven't lost you. But you betrayed me, didn't you?" Phrixus felt confusion awash in his mind. Something wasn't right, but yet everything felt right. "Your drink, beloved. Throw it aside. I shall call Finley for a new one." Phrixus focused on the mug in his hand. The blood from Isabella's finger continued to weep. His hand gripped the handle to cast aside the drink, then something made him stop. Above the revelry of the tavern's crowd, Phrixus heard the minstrel begin to sing. It was a boisterous, bawdy tune he remembered from years past, but the lyrics were all wrong. Don't throw the mug. You must take the blood. Your mind is a mess. You're failing the test. Deny what you see, and let the visions find rest." Phrixus studied the mug harder, while the lyrics repeated. He swirled the drink inside. It was dark, with animated hues of gold and silver. Well, this doesn't look like mead at all. Throw it away, Phrixus, Isabella urged, gently rubbing his hand. The alchemist felt a warm slickness under his skin. He reached to move her hand, but stopped short as he felt a heavy slap on his shoulder. Turning his head, he recognized the face. Finley! The hook-nosed face of his friend filled Phrixus's vision. Short, exceptionally curly locks of rich black hair bracketed his strong cheekbones as the man leaned in. I hear we need a new drink. Phrixus felt his stomach turn to ice. He knew this face, this man. He was a good friend, but rage began to brew inside him, but he didn't know why. The alchemist looked toward Isabella, then back to Finley. His brown eyes were wide, and Phrixus could see his own reflection in them. His own eyes shone a muted blue. But my eyes aren't blue. They're... Phrixus realized he couldn't remember what color his own eyes were. Don't throw the mug. You must take the blood. The words repeated as Phrixus felt Finley grip the mug. Come on, throw it away, Phrixus. Yes, my love, throw it away, Isabella urged again, moving her hand on his once more. Phrixus looked down. The warmth from her hand felt hot now, and it moved with a slippery grace. He yanked his hand free, only to find it covered with her blood. He met her gaze. She spoke. I love you. But Phrixus saw her lips moving oddly. They mouthed a don't before love. Whipping his head back toward Finley, he gazed deeper into the man's eyes. He saw his own eyes turn red as memories flooded the reflection. A happy, loving embrace with Isabella, nights of passion, and days with softly spoken words and promises. Then a sudden shift. Isabella in the arms of another, in the arms of Finley. A betrayal, a denial, and then a hurtful confession of lost love. Throw the mug away, Finley urged once more. Yes, my love, throw it away. Don't throw the mug. You must take the blood. Grab your jewelry, grip it tight. Come back to this world, make it right. Phrixus felt something snap. The tavern he, Isabella, and Finley sat in began to melt away, the wood and stone walls turning to melted wax and running toward the floor. Phrixus shook his head violently and heard the distant jingling of the necklace he wore. With his free hand, Phrixus gripped Finley's wrist, only to feel it collapse in his grip like a rotten piece of fruit. Finley's fingers crumbling away, releasing his grip on the mug. The tavern walls were now completely washed away, replaced with the dirty and moss-covered stone of the Fallen Paladin's tower. Shadows danced across their dingy, pockmarked surface, fed by the glowing spectral light of a shimmering visage to Phrixus's left. To his right, near the opposite wall, stood Garret, completing a battle against the last of a trio of foes. The man whirled and danced, using his blade to deflect the clumsy but aggressive attacks from the desiccated creature. I'm here, Phrixus shouted to his friend. What is happening? Well, thank the gods, Garret shot back. I thought I'd lost you for good. You need to get Lenore's blood. She's floating right next to you. Garret whirled once again, taking a second to use his sword to point at the spirit. A line of blood sprayed from his nose as he moved. I know. I am afraid to look. Phrixus could feel the phantom's presence only inches from himself. Terror tightened in his chest, causing the alchemist to both freeze in place, but also preventing him from turning to face what was there. Garret dodged a lunge from the tattered remains of whatever person was unfortunate enough to fall prey to the specter's visions. You already have looked. How do you think you got trapped in whatever visions she showed you? Steel your spine, alchemist. Face her and collect her blood. I will be by your side shortly. Garret lunged, but missed, overextending his thrust, giving the creature an opening. Both fists slammed down hard on Garret's back, forcing him to the ground with a grunt. Phrixus pinched his eyes shut hard, inhaling sharply through his nose. He took a quick appraisal of himself. There was no pain. He wasn't hurt. He realized one hand held the container he needed to collect the blood. The mug. Clever, he thought to himself. He could tell by the weight it already had the initial primers and mixers. Phrixus's other hand slid instinctively to the pouch on his hip, containing the final herbs needed once the two bloods mixed. It's all here. All the alchemist needed to do now was collect the first sample. Toss the mug, beloved. Phrixus heard Isabella's voice, but instead of inside his head, it was in his ears. The sound of it pulled at his emotions and senses, and the rational side of his soul felt itself being overwhelmed at the call of his former lover. He heard himself shout, "No!" as a thought pierced the clouds of confusion rising inside of him. She betrayed me once, and now this spirit seeks to have her betray me again. No! Phrixus turned toward the spirit and opened his eyes. The wispy and ethereal form of a woman floated several inches above the cold stone floor and was less than 2 feet from Phrixus himself. Her ghostly face moved between the appearance of a woman he did not recognize and another he very much did. That of his former lover, Isabella, the one who betrayed him with his closest friend, Finley. The rest of her body wore spectral clothing, matching the symbols of the holy order she once served. Her arms were at her side, palms facing out. Blood dripped from her ghostly wrists. She spoke again, but Phrixus ignored the words as he knelt down in front of her and extended the container. The eternal blood from Lenore Drache dripped deliberately into it. With discipline, he counted the drips, until 13 had gone in. Pulling away, Phrixus turned toward Garret. "I have Lenore's blood!" The alchemist looked up, only to see the lumbering form of the creature Garret was previously engaged with. Its arms outstretched, it reached for Phrixus's throat. Author's note. So there's two things about this particular story that I want to talk about. One, a lot of the details in regards to Phrixus's backstory that were generated from the cards. This was some of the stuff that I wanted to include last chapter. Like I said then, I felt it worked much better to include them here. Now I'm happier with that particular result. In particular, if you're keeping score at home, the fact that Phrixus had a lost love, a previous romance, that there was some treachery that I determined was going to be from this former lover. The first mention of the red eyes that he has. Those were all important elements that I wanted to incorporate. Of course, the names were also randomly generated from the cards that I've used previously. See the footnotes episode if you don't know what I'm talking about. And the second here is, well, good as a story standalone. In the sequence of being a serial, I liked that this chapter essentially picks up in the middle of Phrixus's vision that he's having, his temptations that he's facing, as opposed to setting it all up. We kind of join the vision in media res, so to speak. So I kind of liked being able to do that with this particular chapter. So, as always, thanks again for listening. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see you next time. This chapter of Bite-Sized Tales has been brought to you under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Intro and outro music is Fantasy Motion by Alexander Nakarada, provided under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we greatly appreciate reviews and recommendations to your friends. For more information about our authors, please visit bitesizedtales.com or follow us on Instagram at bite_size_tales or on Blue Sky at bitesizedtales.bsky.social. We look forward to reading to you next time.